Hi guys, welcome back to Guitar Goomba. I'm your Guitar Goomba Lucky. Today, while we wait for the body to dry with the stain and everything before I sand it back, figured I'd go ahead and move on to customizing the pickguard. Now, what goes better with rock and roll than leather? So today, I'll show you how to cover a pickguard in leather. Let's get started. What you will need for this project is obviously your pickguard. Next, you'll need a piece of leather big enough to cover your pickguard. This piece I got from a bag of, what do you call it, scrap, basically. $7 at my local hobby center. I got a big old bag full of offcuts of leather. Next, you'll need a sharp knife. I like to use a utility razor knife with a brand new blade. Must be sharp. You can use an X-Acto knife, a scalpel, whatever you want to use for that. But I have a lot of utility knives, so I use those. Next, you'll need some form of adhesive. For our project, we'll be using 3M's Super 77. Now, the reason I use this is because I do a lot of automotive stuff and it works really well for that. So, first thing we want to do is take your pickguard and figure out where you're going to align it on your leather so that you have enough to cover it and you get the good parts of the leather, the best parts that you want. Now for me, I'm going to go right here. Now, I'm going to cut off, leaving lots of extra because I want to be able to rearrange it as I'm working. I don't want to be stuck with, well, this is what I cut off, this is all I can do. No, I want to be a little bit better than that. Now, we have our leather cut. This is what our piece looks like. It's going to go like this. Next we have pickguard and our Super 77. So you want to turn your leather over. You want your pickguard right side up. Now you're going to take your adhesive, shake it up real good. This stuff is really sticky, so what you want to do is you want something that you can use to spray your stuff in so you don't get adhesive all over your table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and with this, the instructions are, of course, shake, turn nozzle so tip points to the dot on the rim, which is right here, so you have to turn this like that, right? Hold the can 6 to 8 inches away from the surface to be sprayed, spray a uniform coat. Allow it to dry until tacky, then apply sufficient pressure to ensure complete contact. So basically, what we're going to do is take this, cover it with a good coat, then I'm going to take that and set it off to the side. Let that tack up. Next, we're going to take our leather. Now, because I don't want the glue from spraying the pickguard on my leather, I'm going to flip my box over. Easy peasy, right? So then, we're going to spray a generous coat of the adhesive onto the leather. And then, that's it. We just give it a couple of minutes to tack up. And when I say tack up, that means when you touch it, it doesn't come off stringy on your fingers. All right, guys, we're back. Now, our adhesive has gotten tacky. You can see that when I do this, no stringiness, right? Same on here. So now what we're gonna do is move our box, set the pickguard down. Now we're gonna take our leather. We want to carefully align it over the pickguard. Now you want to use significant pressure to do this, to hold this down, to really roll that adhesive in. A rolling pin works. A laminate roller would be perfect for this job. I'm just going to use this dowel that I have right here. And I'm just going to roll back and forth across it in every direction. Now I do want to flip this back over so that I'm not rolling onto my work surface and permanently adhering the leather to it, because that would be bad. So we're going to do that. Pick this up, press it down, make sure it's pressed down real good. Use the end of the tool to get our edges, which will also give us a real nice effect on our leather. Okay, so there we go. Now that is adhered down. I want to rub real good around my pickup cutout. Now I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to start trimming away the excess. Now on this first pass, you don't have to be precise. It doesn't need to be 100% exact where you want it to end up. You just want to get it close enough so that when you go back, you can trim off the excess nice and neatly, like so. And you have like a little curve there. Now they do make leather working tools that would make doing this a breeze, you know, especially for cleaning up the edges. Okay, didn't quite go through on that one. So just skim it along. So it's not hard to do. Just takes a little patience and concentration is all. And then all you do is remove everything that isn't pickguard. Now, I got a comment on the last video about the burst finish that I'm doing on the giveaway guitar here. Well, the comment was, the commenter said that he didn't think he'd be brave enough to try that. Well, you know, I've never done it before, but I figure what's the worst that happens? I screw up the finish, and then I end up painting it, which to me would not be the worst thing in the world because, you know, I like painted guitars. Most of my guitars are painted. So I decided to give it a shot, see what happens, right? But my advice to that particular commenter was, if you want to practice to get your confidence up, just go to your local hardware store, home improvement center, whatever, and buy some cheap wood. They sell really cheap wood at home improvement centers. You know, stuff that's really intended to be used for building houses and stuff, not really for doing guitars. So, I said, go get you some wood and buy some stain and practice that way. That way, you're only out a few bucks, and you can practice until you get comfortable with it. Then once your confidence is up, then you can move on to something like, you know, a guitar. You know, there are cheaper ways to get your experience in than just starting off building a guitar and staining it from scratch, especially with a technique you've never tried before. And now what I'm doing here is I'm just beveling the edges of the leather because I like that look, you know, as you can see there. And I want the black to be a bit of a pinstripe effect. So, like I said, if you go to a leather craft, you know, store or look online for leather working tools, they actually make tools specifically for making this bevel. I don't happen to have them, so I'm using a utility knife. As you can see, it's working pretty well. So, the moral of the story is, don't be afraid to try something new. Just, if you can't afford to practice on the real thing, then practice on something cheaper. Then, once your confidence is good and you believe you're ready to go, do it. And I would love to see the results of your work. Now, as you can see, what I'm doing here is I do onto these straight runs. I'll start off with the knife going one direction to get into the corner, and then I'll go the opposite direction to get into the other corner. Now, these curves are a little difficult with this big old utility knife, but they're doable. And another thing, you see me pulling the knife into myself, using my thumb for grip. Don't do that. Because, yeah, it gives you more control, but if you slip with the knife, you slice yourself. And razor blades, they will slice you significantly. Okay, so when you're making these tight curves, just be patient, move slow, and just get into the curve. Let's see. Nope, didn't go all the way through on this back end. A little bit of debris there. Yep, that should have it. There we go. Now we're ready for some cleanup on this. And as you can see, I am sweating profusely, and that's because I live in southeast Louisiana, just outside New Orleans, and it's summer. I mean, yeah, it's September, so you would think Oh, it's, you know, getting into fall. Sure, other places. But here in the deep south, we don't actually have fall. We have two seasons. Summer, not summer. All right, so here is the leather-bound pickguard. And that'll do it for today. Next time, I'll be sanding the stain on the guitar, and then we'll get started on the lacquer. Now, I have not put the holes for the screws yet. I'll do that with the drill and all that. That's really simple. All you do is you get a drill, you get it the same size as the hole, and you go from the back side and you put this down on a piece of wood so that when you drill through, it doesn't tear out. All right, guys, now what's next is we have to do the holes where the pickguard mounts to the body and where the neck pickup mounts to the scratch plate. We'll take care of that here in just a sec. We're going to do that with a drill. All right, guys, what you'll need for this is a piece of wood, your pickguard, and drill bits of the appropriate size. Now, in order to figure out what size drill bit you need, take the drill bit and take the back side of the drill bit and place it into the hole until it fits snug with no wiggle room but goes in easy. That is the size you need. Now we'll get cranked up and we will drill through nice and easy. So, one hole. Now we continue to do the rest of these. And here you go, finished pickguard. I beveled the holes for the screws so that the thickness of the leather doesn't get in the way of the screws. Got the pickup in, looking pretty good. Next time you see this will be when I'm mounting it on the giveaway guitar. Now to enter to win that giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment below. When I finish the guitar, I will enter a random number generator to pick out the winner of the guitar from all of the comments below. If you are the winner, you must be subscribed to the channel and have commented on the video. So subscribe, like, comment, maybe you win. If you haven't seen the first video in the build series, that'll be a link right there. And if you want to see the last video from the series, that'll be right there. Until next time, this is Lucky, your Guitar Goomba, saying keep rocking.